Welcome back, everybody. I know it's been a while, but I'd like to welcome everybody to this episode. This is October 15th, I believe, for the 2023 season for archery season in Ohio. So in this episode, I wanted to explain a few things. For my subscribers that have been following me for a while, you've noticed I've been absent for quite a while, probably since last spring. And I wanted to explain to you guys why, and then tell you a little update in the future of the channel. As you guys may know, guys, girls, when I say guys, I mean all of you. As you guys may know, there's a lot of YouTube channels out there, hunting, parachuting, learning to draw, learning to whatever. Most of the channels that have 1 million subscribers or 100,000 subscribers or whatever, it's almost like a full-time job in my opinion. They post videos, beautiful videos, high production. I mean, almost like stuff you see, like better than the stuff I grew up in the 70s, so it's way better production than the stuff I grew up on. But yeah, it takes a lot of investment, a lot of time, and these channels, they're putting out a video every day, weekly, whatever, to get the subscribers to engage, and I understand all that. But for you guys that have been watching my channel from the beginning, you know that I'm a less is more person. Who wouldn't want to have 2 million subscribers and make a great living doing what you love and doing this? But I don't feel that my channel is in that direction. Like you say, my channel is just for me to share my experiences and some of the knowledge I may have gathered with my experience over the years and share it with some subscribers. I'd rather have a community of subscribers that's this big and we communicate back and forth. I help you, you help me, and we communicate. Almost like a social club or a little membership thing where we communicate online. So that is one of the reasons you guys haven't seen me active like I used to be in the past. So, so that goes to the future of the channel. I believe at this point, it's mainly about archery hunting, whether it be bows, crossbows, again, they're just tools. So it's about archery hunting and how-to tips and tricks and knowledge and so forth. So I think in the future, unless something changes, I'm just gonna primarily do things maybe a little bit in the summer, and some gadgetry or some things that I may learn to teach you guys or share with you guys. Maybe you guys can comment. I would like some comments. I still don't get comments. And again, that's one of the things I would really like. Because if you notice some of the subscribing channels, YouTube channels that have thousands and tens of thousands of subscribers, when the channels are small, like my community is, and I'm very proud of that, there's a lot of interaction. Hey, Billy, it was nice to see that. I picked up that tip. Thanks, man. I live in Nebraska, here's my whatever. But once these channels reach a point where they're so big, they'll have 500, 400, couple hundred comments. And the channel subscriber, whoever they may be, they don't leave any comments because they outgrew the channel. So enough with that. So in the future, like I say, you're just going to see me rolling, posting episodes right before deer season kicks off, maybe a little bit in the summer with some archery range stuff, and then obviously during archery season. So that explains the future of the channel and what have you. And one of the things I wanted to talk about today before I show you the footage of today's hunt, so that you know me, I'm 53 years old. I'm retired, and I'm proud of that. But one of the things that happened to me in my career before I retired, my career, I was in the cold. I was out in the cold. I was a United Steelworker, so I was out in the cold. We didn't have heat, all that. I'm not asking for sympathy. Long story short, when I hunt, especially using a compound bow, all those years in the winter and the mills and stuff, I suffered some nerve damage in my fingers. Nothing bad. I still got all my digits. And being a steel worker is that's a good thing to walk away with all that. But anyhow, so when I was a kid, when I used to hunt, I started hunting in the early 80s. Even then, so I must have some genetic thing too on top of that. Even then, my hands and feet would get real cold. I'd be out hunting with my dad, and I'd be like, I'd be looking at the watch, and I'd be like, oh, when's lunchtime? I want to hit to the truck, get that warmer going. So my dad discovered that, and back then, most of you guys on this channel probably aren't my age. Maybe some of you are. If you are, or whatever, comment, please. That's what I want. I want to hear the community. So anyhow, my dad knew that my hands were cold and my feet. We did all the, back then you'd wear the wool clothes, the wool socks, the wool gloves. They were thick as hell. When, back then they'd get soaked with water, and it was just a miserable experience. They didn't have the threads and technologies and all that stuff that they have today. That merino wool stuff, that if you can afford that, that is the money. So anyhow, my dad had this hand warmer when I was a kid. He bought it at a store or something, and it was a little metal pouch. It almost looked like a large cigarette case. I know most of you don't even know what cigarettes are, and that's a good thing. But it was like a about this size, and it was kind of like it had a little felt on the outside, and it was some sort of metal. I'm assuming it conducted heat, some sort of metal that conducted heat. Won't get into that. Anyhow, you opened it up, and it was lined with some sort of stringy, batted fiber, almost like a fiberglass. But back then, I wouldn't be surprised if it was asbestos. And you can look that up if you're not familiar with it, but that is some nasty stuff. So anyhow, you'd open this thing up in the morning or sometime late at night before you were going hunting in the morning. It would come with these little charcoal sticks, and you'd light them, blow them out, and they would glow. You put them in the little container and close it, and then you carried that with you, and that was your hand warmer. And then later, late 80s came along. They came out with which I'm sure a lot of you are familiar with and probably still use, the little pouches. I don't know the brand name. There's millions of them, and you rip the bag and take the pouch out, and you shake it, do this, and then you put it in your hands and stuff. And those work pretty well. They work pretty well. In fact, I used to use those when I was still working. They worked pretty well, and of course they were better than that old cigarette can that who knows what was in that thing. Excuse me. So any of you that suffer from your hands getting cold, obviously keep them dry, all that. But as you guys know, in archery, it's critical. It's critical. Some guy, I don't know about you guys, but I use very thin gloves when I'm using the compound bow. And if your fingers go numb or cold, man, you're done. You might as well just stay home. So I'm not a person to push products at all, but I found this little bugger. I don't know how I found this, but I found this device, and I'll bring it up to the camera so you can see it. I don't know if you can see it, but it's OCOOPA. Bring that up. I don't know how you pronounce it. So anyhow, it's basically a very, 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 I can't express how good this works. It's a hand warmer. That's all it is. It's got high, medium, low. High, medium, low. That's simple. USB port. You charge it in. I don't know. I forget the runtime on high. 6-8 hours. On medium or low, whatever, 10, 12, 14 hours. It lasts a long time. And let me tell you, when you put this little puppy on low, man, your hands are so warm, so warm. It's quiet, obviously there's no moving parts. And it also has all three of the major USB, my camera can focus, all the three major size USB ports. And one of the other advantages of this hand warmer is it also is a charger. So if you're out in the field and whatever devices you have, as you young guys know, you got a device on every limb. You may have forgot to charge it, hell, you can have this thing warming your paws and charging a trail camera or what have you. And so I wanted to share this with you guys. This thing, I'm telling you, is a game changer for somebody like me who gets cold hands. So pick yourself up one. I ain't gonna tell you the stores to get it. You guys know you get online, they bring the crap to your house. So I'm gonna close out. I don't want to bore you guys. I'm gonna close out with one of the reasons I started my channel back up. I had been talking to my wife. This is going back to my intro to this interview. One of the things over the summer I talked to my wife about, I'm like, you know, I don't know if I'm going to continue my hunting channel, Endless Horizons hunting channel. She's like, why? I'm like, and you guys seen it in my videos. I tell her and everybody, I don't want it to take away from my hunting. You know, I don't want to be out there waiting on a shot just so I can get the camera just right to blah, 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 and, you know, and then miss a deer because of all this camera stuff and the investment. I don't want it to be that. So I told her, and I go, you know, I'm not really, I got a lot of a nice amount of subscribers. And actually, I look at that thing YouTube sends you monthly, how your channel is doing. Very surprised. I'm always surprised, and thank you to all my subscribers or viewers. I get monthly, I get a lot of hours of play of people watching my channel. I mean, hours and hours and hours of people watching my channel and the views, and they stick with them as long as they're not too long. You know, you younger people, you don't have the attention span. You're just programmed that way. It's not your fault. I'm not knocking anybody. So I told my wife, I don't know. You know, I don't know if I'm going to continue this. And I kick it around. I talked to my friends about it. So what happened was this last weekend, today's Tuesday, this past weekend, my wife and I were invited to a class reunion. I graduated in '88. It was a class reunion at a local drinking hole for anybody that graduated in the '80s. And I live in Southington, so it was for the Chalker High alumni. You know, my wife drags me out to the thing. It's not that I'm antisocial, didn't want to go, but whatever. I was never the person that enjoyed school, you know. Well, my last 2 years of school, I went to a vocational school, which was one of the best things I ever did. Anybody who's in high school that's not into the curriculum that they're wanting, get yourself a trade. I'm telling you, a trade is more valuable than all these books. And so I'm telling you, my experience. Education is so valuable. I don't care where you get it. And you know what I've learned in my life? The older you get, you never stop learning. So I'm not knocking education. Education is a very good thing. So anyhow, going back to what I'm saying, I'm getting on a rant here. I go to this establishment, you know, and everybody's having a good time. People starting to gather around, been there a few hours, so people are starting to have fun, you know. And I meet this young man. He overheard my wife talking, and my wife said our name, and this young man's like, hey, I know you. Your husband has the Endless Horizons hunting channel. My wife's like, yeah, you know, whatever. And then she introduces me to him, and he's like, yeah, I know you're I'm one of your subscribers on YouTube for the Endless Horizons hunting channel. I'm like, how cool is that? How cool is that? So I tell this young man, he's like, you know, he hadn't seen any videos lately. So I tell him my predicament. I'm like, yeah, I'm kicking around the idea maybe just ending the channel, you know, just leaving it sit, you know, I don't know, maybe return to it in the future, I don't know. Anyhow, he's like, dude, the channel's great, it's helped me. He spread the word with some people, and he really enjoyed it. And because of meeting that subscriber, that's why I'm talking to you today. So like I said, that communication, that bonding with the channel, that's what it's all about. I want to know that I helped somebody. And I would like that same person to help me. Just because I've been hunting a couple decades doesn't mean I know anything. I'm still learning, like I just said. So that's it. Stay tuned. You're going to see today's hunt right after this clip, this intro interview. And it's early season, so I'm not really pushing back into the woods, into my little honey holes, as they like to nickname them. But I'm hunting the fringes, you know, because there's still some ag fields, trying to get in there behind the deer when they come out from feeding and maybe get a little fling at one. So hang in there, watch the upcoming episodes, and let me know what you guys and gals think. And stick with us. There's more to come from Endless Horizons. From me to you and the woods and the fun of archery. It means a lot to me. From the bottom of my heart. From Endless Horizons. Peace and love. Well, the sun just come up just a little bit ago. We're back here at the back. Wind's coming out of the west. We're hunting this ag field right here. We're kind of at a little pinch point, if you will. Last time I was hunting, saw three doe coming out of this field. There's a lot of tracks right in here where they travel. So I'm sitting, I'm doing some ground hunting, and I'm hoping it's about 8:30 now. Haven't seen anything come out of the woods, or I'm sorry, out of the ag fields. So possibly they're coming out of this, you know, they came out of these ag fields, and hopefully they're making their way back to some bedding. So that's basically where I'm at. Hopefully, if they do come out of those fields after feeding all night, I know their bedding's back in this general location. So with any luck, that's what I'm trying to do. Just trying to basically cut the deer off from feeding at night, and when they transition back to their beds. So I'm going to spin this camera around. I'll kind of point out where the bedding is, and then hopefully we'll see something today. I haven't seen anything yet, so again, take a look. Like I was saying, they usually come out of here over the last decade, I guess. There's always some good buck bedding about 50, 60 yards that way. There's a large lake over there, more ag fields. So I don't want to pressure the deer too much. It's I think it's October 15th or 16th. So I'm just starting to work the in my opinion, this time of year, I try not to hunt too far back into the woods. I try to stay just on the fringes and try to catch, like I said, trying to catch the deer as they come back from feeding. I don't want to lay any scent or bump any deer till about the last week of October, weather permitting. Okay, well, I don't want to get busted with my camera in my hand, so I'm going to sign out. Talk to you guys soon. Peace and love from Endless Horizons. Okay, everybody, I'm back. I'm not going to talk real long. It's about 9:30. I switched locations just a little bit. I moved up about 100 yards. This is kind of like my late mornings spot when I'm ground hunting. It's one of my favorite spots. I'll show you why here in just a second. The cornfield that's in front of me. That cornfield that's in front of me, when I take out of here when I'm done hunting, I'll show you how, oh geez, probably 20 yards back into it, you can't find a single ear of corn. And that shows that the deer, like like I was saying, they bed behind me, or sometimes these little buggers, they'll bed in that corn. They'll bed in there midday. Nothing bumps them out. Why not? It's free food. It's a buffet. So let me spin this camera around and show you what I. You notice how open all of this is. I can see the deer coming up this way, obviously coming out in front of me. The farmers brush hog this out, and 2 years ago I cleaned out this spot here for this tree, right here, this tree right here behind me, for a tree stand, or even a grabbing knife right up here in front of me. But again, this is one of my great morning spots. I can see, oh hell, I can see 150 yards that way. I can, like I say, you see the deer coming up. Obviously, if the deer are bedded up there, I'll see the corn top starting to move, and when they come out, boom. So, okay, I don't want to get busted here. My wife would have my ass if I missed a deer while I'm on this darn phone. So, one of these days I'm gonna get her out here. Okay, everybody, I'll sign off, and before I leave here, I'm going to show you an example of that cornfield that's just been ripped. The corn's gone. I like that. Farmers don't like that. But as I always say, hunt first, farm second. Peace and love from Endless Horizons. Okay, everybody, I'm pretty much done hunting, but I'm still going to be a little quiet just in case something's bedded somewhere and I don't know where it's at or whatever. I don't want to spook anything, but I wanted to show you that example of what to look for when you're on these field edges, especially, I mean, it could be soybeans, but it's a little harder to detect, but hunting these cornfields, these edges. Here's what I was telling you. If you look, yeah, it's hard to see with the camera. I really don't want to walk in there because hell, there could be 5-10 deer bedded in there. I don't know. You just don't know. But I can tell you, everywhere I look, you can see some trampling. There is not a piece of corn anywhere on the edges of these fields. I mean, as far as I can see in there, I don't see one ear of corn standing. So again, that's what to look for. Do you do it pre-season? Kind of hard to do. I kind of do it on the fly because I know this area. I've been hunting it a long time. Also, too, these little, I guess you call them a transition, you know, from ag field to the hardwoods. But see these, anything that slopes like this, and again, there's where I was sitting a minute ago, and then see how it's a high spot. The deer really loves a high spot. Then it wraps around this way. You can kind of see the tree line, and it goes down there. That's really what you want to look for. You want to look for these hard edges, and the deer they don't like these straight lines. They like them, especially the bucks. They really like to follow these edges and just work their way around. Again, it's like I said, it's a little early in the season, so using a crossbow today. Some of you may like that, some of you may not. The way I look at it is that crossbow or my compound bow is a tool. If you're a mechanic, what do? You have a toolbox with a lot of tools in it. A good mechanic just doesn't use one screwdriver for every job. He has a toolbox full of tools. So forget all that macho stuff, as John Mellencamp once said in his song. Forget all that stuff on, this doesn't belong, whatever. I'm not here for 2 reasons. For one, to enjoy my life, be with nature, do something I was raised, that's really part of me. And the other thing is to kill a deer ethically, put it in my freezer so I can enjoy it with my family. Also, too, I'm retired, not made of money. A couple 100 pounds of venison in the freezer goes a long, long way. So I'm going to pick up my tool, head back to the pickup truck, and I'm going to call it a day. So I wanted to thank everybody for being with me. Hopefully I can pick up some more videos of some deer, some critter running around, and get this channel rolling. So I want to thank everybody for tuning into this episode, and let us enjoy nature and watching more episodes of myself, other hunting channels. You don't have to just watch me. And let us enjoy safely, ethically, and properly enjoy this 2023 deer season. From Endless Horizons, from myself, from my tools and my toolbox, peace and love. What a beautiful